Hey everyone, and welcome to Star Atlas Today, your news source for everything that's Star Atlas related. Today I wanted to touch upon the Rarity Index. So this is a concept that is fairly common in the gaming industry. You see some items, there's a rarity attached to it, and it's nothing that's standard. There's not a supply that is fixed in the whole community and that will apply to every single game. But in Star Atlas, we have this rarity concept where things go from common to anomaly, and there's a different set of supply and price ranges attached to each one of those. And I want to dive into this and help you guys to understand the index and also help you understand what kind of supply is more common for which rarity and also the price ranges that you can expect. So if you look on the marketplace, you will see a different set of items. They go from very common, uncommon, rare, and then there's epic, legendary, and finally anomaly. So what you can expect first off is that common items will be very, very common. There's going to be a lot of those on the market. The price of these should be very cheap. Same thing for uncommon. You could get those easily and the prices should not be exorbitant either. But the higher you go, the more they become restrictive and expensive. And anomaly is really out of this world. There's going to be maybe 10 of those or even one of those, and they're going to be very, very expensive to get. So I've worked out the supply that we have currently. This is just from the current sales that have already happened. There's going to be some new items added. This is going to change all of this. But so far, when we look at only the supply, the most common item that we have is the Opal Jet, and there's 130,000-ish of those. Now they might have a new ship in the future that's going to have a lot more. We don't know how the game is going to grow, but this could change. But it just means that there's going to be a lot of those. The price is going to be very floored for those and very low. The rarest common item is the poster called the Discovery of Iris. There's 10,000 of those. If we go into the next category, uncommon, there's 34,000 Pierce X5. This is the most common items in the uncommon. And the rarest one is the unique badge, which is a bit weird because that was a result of the astronaut, the Armstrong poster, which gave exactly 2010 badges as a reward, but it's classified as uncommon. And there's a bit of inconsistency in that, and I'll go to it when we get to legendary. But you see that the range is much smaller, and it's also overlapping with the common one. So here you have 34,000 to 2,000. If we go into the rare section, we have the Taigu Sphinx, which is the most common one, and then the poster B+P, which has 707 of those. And again, you see a bit of overlap between the two. And then if we go into the epic, there's a White Hot, which again is a weird one because that one was a reward from the Armstrong poster, which had 2010. And what you can see is that it's the unique badge, which was a reward, was in uncommon, but then the White Hot is in epic. So there's a bit of inconsistency with that one. But in epic, it goes up to 72, which is the R Visits Earth poster. And again, you can see a bit of overlap, but you can see that the numbers are also always decreasing. In the legendary range, we have 729, which is the number of supply for the Ogrica Tripod ship. And 4 is the poster, the Ooster Wad. And Armstrong poster is classified as legendary, although there's 2,000 of those, which is weird. As I said this, there's the unique badge, which is exactly the same supply as the Armstrong poster, and the White Hot as well. And there's different categories for the three of them. So maybe there's a bit of inconsistency for that one. And just recently they issued that Primordial Glow digital fashion where there's now a fixed supply, which is 1,660, and that is also classified as legendary. So sometimes it can go out of bounds, but even if we consider those, it's still overlapping a bit, but you can see that the numbers are going smaller and smaller. And then in the last category, anomaly, there's only 4 of maximum, which is the poster Fatoli. And then likely we'll see what happens, but I'm guessing the Busan, there's going to be just one of them and they're going to sell it for 5 or 10 million, which is going to be something crazy. So this is for the supply. You can look at this chart, and if you see that a new item is being announced and it's going to be common, then you know what the ranges are going to be or where they should be about. And if there's an item that they're announcing that's going to come in a certain range, you can expect that the final supply is going to be within those ranges. If we go into the likely prices, so for the moment, for the ships or for the posters, there seems to be a consistent price tag for all of these items. So if we look at the common items, so the Pier 64, it's $20 right now, but it was meant to be issued at $15. So that's a common item. And the most expensive one is the poster, the Discovery of Iris, which was issued at $64. So we can see that for the common items, the cheapest one is 15, the most expensive one is 64. If we go into the uncommon category, the poster, the HOSA, was 128, which was a double of the DOI. And the most expensive item that we have at the moment is the Opal Jet at 300. If we look at the next ships, the Gao ship brochure, there's the Calico Evac, which is announced as an uncommon item, and the lowest price tag is 1,500. So I don't know if that's correct. We'll have to wait until that ship is issued. But for the moment, maybe they made a mistake and it's going to be cheaper, because in the uncommon range, I mean, it would make it quite expensive. And we had another ship, the Visas Opad, which was issued at 1,500 and which was a rare or epic ship. So maybe that's going to be corrected, but I would expect this range to stay fairly low as well. Just like the common, very cheap, uncommon, cheap but still affordable. And then when we go into the rare, that's where it starts becoming expensive. 512 was the poster, the Convergence War, and the most expensive that came out so far is the Fimble BIOS Packlight, which was issued at 3,600. In the epic range, there's the Assassination of Paizul, which was issued at 2,048, and Our Visits Earth, which was 8,000. So you can see that the price range increases. Legendary, Ogrica Tripid at 9,000 was the cheapest one issued so far in the legendary category. That is if we exclude that Armstrong poster, and if we exclude the new Digital Fashion Primordial Glow, which was issued at $420. But in the ship range, it is the cheapest one. And then we had the poster Ooster, which was 130,000. There's a bit of there's no overlap, but you can see that the price increases, and eventually I'm guessing that the prices will be more consistent and there will be fixed ranges where you can expect these ships to come at. For the anomaly, there's on the poster, there's the Fimble Ecos 3 Arrow, which is priced at 100,000. There's probably going to be more than 4 of those, I'm guessing. And then the Titan ships, they said they would go up to 10 million, so we can see for that. But you can see sort of a price range of where things should lie. For example, I think the pilot license was a common item. So they said they would be distributed with the ships now. So I don't know if there's going to be a license on the market in the future. It could be. But if they are in the market, I would expect them to be kind of in this range of $15 to $64. And for the captain's license, it's listed as an uncommon item. And that, again, I'm expecting it to be in this price range. Right now, it's trading a lot more than $300. But they did say at the last town hall that they would give an exclusive crew member NFT to the people that are holding the pilot license and the captain license. So I don't know how the mechanics of this is going to work. Maybe they're going to just transfer the title of the current licenses into that crew NFT and then burn them and reissue some new pilot license or some captain's license, but we'll see what happens with that. So this kind of gives you a range of prices that we could expect. So in the future, when there's going to be some new issues from the galactic asset offering, if there's a ship, if you see it as rare, you already have a price range here, but if you see it as rare, then you kind of know what price range you can expect. So for the rare items, I listed them as 512 to 3,600-ish. So you can kind of expect these to come at these prices. So if we have 300 to 3,000, I mean, this is the upper range is 1,200, which is probably going to be for the epic ships, but the rare ones, you can expect them to be above 300 for sure. And then same thing for the other ranges. You can look at the rarity and sort of expect a certain set of price, especially if you look at these ranges here. You know what the min is, you know what the maximum is, so it's a bit easier to figure out. But in the medium and large ships range, and in the small and small ships where it's a bit wider, the ranges, you can use this rarity index and the numbers I provided earlier to give you a sort of range. And if there's any new NFTs that are announced on the market, then you can also look at these indexes to expect a certain range. Just a small market update. So the Polis has recovered a bit. We've seen the market has been a bit more positive lately. And we've also seen that big supply that was on the sell side of like 200,000, 400,000 at one point of Polis, which has disappeared now. So we were bumping against it in this range here at 690. Maybe I don't see it anymore there, but I've seen it go down a bit, and here we were bumping against it as well. But that seemed to have disappeared. So that means that right now Polis has a bit of upward potential. And just again, anything that I say on this video, it's just for your entertainment. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so you do what you want with this information. And also, I think a lot of the dynamic of Polis and Atlas will have to do with when the game starts, and we can expect that to be in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Michael has said that they expected DAO where you can start staking your Polis and start paying with things with Atlas. That could come in the next 2 months sometime. I'd go for the larger end of this, so probably more in 6 weeks. That would be probably end of October till mid-November. That's when we can start to expect people using these tokens. And when people start using these tokens, then people start buying them on the secondary market because they want to play the game. So that's going to probably have an effect on the prices in on Polis and on Atlas. And just one last thing, the next galactic asset offering, or the next ship that's going to be offered, is likely not going to be before a while. The developers and the team is working really hard on getting this mini game out as soon as possible. And we can also see a bit of fatigue with the last offerings that there was on the market. I think a lot of people spent a lot of money on the first ships, and they don't necessarily have more money to spend on other ships. And the only new money could come from new game players, and as the game is not live right now, there's probably not a lot of growth there. So I'm guessing the team saw a little bit of fatigue there and decided to do the next ship offering closer to the date of when the minigame is ready. So Michael has said that would be maybe in 4 weeks or 5 weeks, very, very close to when the new game starts. So that's the latest news on the market. And if you have any questions, leave them in a comment and I'll just answer them. And otherwise, I wish you all a good day. See you soon.